Let's turn a small family archive into heritage pages in the family scrapbook album.
If you watched my last video, you saw that I was given this small archive about my oldest uncle, and it had a lot of documents and just a few modern pictures in it. In my last video, I found some old negatives and scanned them, and since then I've had them printed out. I also went to Ancestry.com and got a few things from Uncle Jack's World War II records and just printed them out on paper.
By the way, I'm Beth Saunders. I like heritage, coffee, scrapbooking, and some other things. And if you haven't seen my previous videos where I've been working on my family heritage album, specifically my paternal aunts and uncles, then hit that subscribe button and feel free to go back and watch those other videos.
Now, I wanted to fill in more of the story, but don't get me wrong. If you don't have more to add, you could still make some nice scrapbook pages just by making a collage of old and new, or you could put the new pictures on one page and some of the older documents on another page, and that would be just fine. But I was able to get some more documents and add a little bit more. In a previous video, we put together this Natural Beginnings album kit, and it was so easy. It's basically full of simple page kits that you can just use the cut apart guide. It comes with embellishments, everything's numbered. It's so easy. And that's what we're going to use today. So I've been using this to add pages to my heritage album, and I'm not going to keep them in order the way that we did this kit. I'm just going to use what we need. I think I'll use these 2 pages for my new pictures. So let me pull those out. And let's see. And there's where I was working on my other uncle, working on his older brother today. I think I'm going to use this one. I thought about that for the what might be wedding photos, the nice pictures of him and his first wife, Young. There's one I've used. Oh, I'm going to use this one to go with that other one that has a little bit of green in it. And then I think I decided to use this one for the earlier pictures. I was pretty happy with how these turned out, although I probably should have lightened them a little bit. I switching them to black and white for processing brightened them up a tad, but otherwise they're just the way I scanned them. It's so pretty. Okay, yeah, so I want to use the one with the little flowers on it here for the one with them together. Now, you may not remember, but when I put the album kit together, I put all the stickers down, just like they said in the album kit guide, but everything else, the mats and everything, I just put a little bit of repositionable tape runner because I wasn't exactly sure how I wanted to use them. So I'm going to have to, actually I did put that one down because it was a big background piece that I could do anything with. But this, I need to add a little repositionable tape runner. And because these are copies, these aren't original photos, I'm going to trim them a little bit to fit the mats here. I also, some of these old negatives had degraded a bit, and maybe they weren't the exact size of a modern 4x6, so I'm going to trim off the little bit of extra pieces there that aren't part of the picture. Oh, and the man that in the negative I thought might be my dad, he's actually my dad and Jack and his brother's cousin, who is also my maternal uncle. because sometimes, you know, your family trees don't quite fork. So anyhow, I think of him as my uncle, but he was their first cousin. It's what happens when two sisters marry two cousins. Now this is the Natural Beginnings album kit, and I'm kind of using the embellishments that came with the kit. But there's also the collection. There are some other things that I could add if I wanted to. And then we have Legacy of Love. And then we have Through the Years, which has some stickers from, let's see, that would be the 1940s there. And let's see, 1930s, 1950s. I think it doesn't quite fit with these pictures. So I'm going to keep these in mind, but I'm really leaning towards using the Legacy of Love stickers and maybe a journaling mat here. Oh, by the way, there's also Called to Serve, which is on Last Chance, and I might use some of those for the military pages. I think I'll use that on those pages. Instead of actually putting his birth certificate on here or using his death certificate, I'm going to find a journaling mat and just write those things down. Just write down some of the when he was born. I actually changed my mind and found these mats in either the Q the Blue or Something Blue collection, anyhow, in my stash, and they go just perfectly. But I'm going to use my two-way corner rounder and just kind of round these corners here. The way to get this straight, and sometimes it can get a little wonky, is to put the tip of your paper at the center of that screw. Because if you just stick it in there and it's this way or that way, then it's not going to look right. So there we go. For the next two pages, I'm going to use some of these things I got off of Ancestry or Fold 3. I'm going to put a page in the middle. We'll do that in a second, but first I'm just going to cut these things out. Let me know in the comments if you have any veteran ancestors or who you're working on with your heritage album. And this one I think I'm just going to trim up. I was surprised how little I found on Fold 3 for Uncle Jack. Seems like I had a lot on some of my other uncles. But maybe that's a good thing, right? Maybe it means he wasn't injured or anything. But this summary has the dates. And I'm going to also write on my little journaling mat when he enlisted. And cut off the top and bottom. Where all my printer stuff is. There we go. And I'm not going to use these mats. So I had a little bit of repositionable tape runner, but it's been a month or so, so it's pretty sticky. But I didn't put much on, so I could take them off. And then just rub that off. So you don't have to use the mats, or, you know, you can turn the pages any way you want to. But I really like having these backgrounds. It makes it so easy. There we go. I'm not sure if that's going to work. We might put that in a sleeve. And these. Just kind of see if I want to use these. I was thinking about using some of these Called to Serve stickers. If I use the Honor Courage, if I use that one, I think it's going to get lost in the colors. But if I use that one behind it, that goes. Maybe I'll go this way. Looks like they point about a 1/4 inch up. And then I can add the words and they'll show up better. Down the middle maybe. Yeah, right down the middle. Well, that works. There we go. Now it's time to use this lovely document here, and I'm hoping it will fit in one of these 8.5 by 11 portrait sleeves so I can put it between these two pages. Get my glove here. And if you don't have a glove, just hold it very carefully by the edges. But, well, let's put it over there. It looks like it will fit. And I didn't really need a glove to put it in something big like this. But something small like this, I might have to kind of ease it in, if that makes sense. This is so fragile. And by the way, I am putting it in the scrapbook, but I also scanned it so that I do have a backup and I can share it online with my cousins. Very easy, gently. It looks like it was folded for a long time. That little piece right there. Ooh, fragile. There we go. It fits great. Okay. I won't try to push it all the way to the end as long as it's all covered up. All right. So I'll just put that in between, and I want to see the front and the back. And I'm thinking about putting another page here with those other documents. Even though they're not as fragile, it'll kind of help me to see the page behind it. So let's see here. I'm going to put this one in here. This little memorial thing. And then maybe this veteran's certificate behind it. So when I put them in the album, so I'm going to get some information off of this to journal, and then I'll just flip it, see the back, and have this side. And I might add some stickers over here. I just realized as I did the journaling that he enlisted in September of '46 and married Aunt Helen in, I think, November. So a couple of months later, he got married. So he enlisted as a single man, but he was married when he served during the war. And this last 2-page spread is the one I'm going to use for the modern pictures. Now, this might seem backwards, but the old pictures I trimmed and I adhered down because they were copies and I can always print more of them. But these have been given to me and there's writing on the back. I did scan them, but I think instead of adhering them down, I'm going to put photo corners on them. These packs have so many in them. It's got 180. Wow. Okay. I've got the embellishments that were already on it. I'm going to keep those. And I might not need the mat since I don't want to trim the pictures. I'm going to keep that one because this picture is smaller. Yeah. Pull that off. And put some corners on that. About right there. There we go. So I looked around and found some embellishments from the Natural Beginnings collection, which of course goes with this album kit. I think I'll put this sticker here. There we go. I think that just added a little something to the page. And I was looking for some words to put here, but I didn't find them. So it can be blank, or I can add some words later. See, I think that is already stuck on. The Natural Beginnings album kit is making this so easy. So I slid the pages into the pockets, and I can rearrange them later if I want to when I put them in the family album. I added a little bit of journaling and some embellishments, some from this collection, some things I had from my stash. I haven't inserted these pages yet, but they'll just go right into the album here.
It's almost like we're starting to get a method here, right? We have the album kit pages. The background's already done for us. We have a little archive for our family, or in my case, different aunts and uncles that I'm putting together in one album. We look around the house or online and see if we can add a little bit to that. This is not a process that's taken forever. This is not my genealogy. This is my heritage album. So I'm just trying to find some highlights, and I can always add stuff later. These are pocket pages, or you can rearrange them. And so I'm not going for perfection here. I'm going for something nice to just have a summary about my family. And I hope that you will hit subscribe and join me next week when I think I'm going to rescue some photos from old frames. So see you then. Bye.